Hardworking people are up against a small group that holds far too much power, not just in our economy, but also in our democracy.
Elizabeth Warren likes to say she's a champion of the little guy, but she recently announced a major policy proposal that would provide more than $1 trillion in aid that would disproportionately benefit the relatively well-off and well-connected.
We are going to roll back student loan debt for about 95% of students who have debt.
The idea is to eliminate debt up to $50,000 for people with household incomes under $100,000 and more limited debt cancellation for households making between $100,000 and $250,000 a year. By her own estimates, the full plan, which also includes funds for Pell Grants and historically black colleges, would cost about $1.25 trillion.
This is about opportunity for everyone.
But the nature of college attendance and student loans means that Warren's loan forgiveness plan is actually a massive giveaway to the relatively well-off. Only about a third of people over 25 have a college degree, making them a comparatively elite group whose elite status is reinforced by, among other things, the connections they make while at college. College graduates earn about $1 million more during their lifetimes than non-college graduates, according to a Georgetown University study. A separate study from Pew found that college graduates typically earn about $17,500 more annually than people who only have high school degrees. College graduates aren't, for the most part, super rich, but generally speaking, they are far more comfortable than the majority who lack such degrees. And while many of the people who would benefit from the plan currently have modest incomes, that's partly because many of them are young people with relatively high future earnings potential. This is a plan that would spend taxpayer money to benefit them. Warren's defenders might respond that it's still a downward transfer since the whole thing will be paid for by a new tax on the super wealthy. There are, however, a few problems with using a wealth tax as a financing mechanism. The first is that the tax might not be constitutional, and even if it is, another problem is that it's likely to raise far less money than projected. That's why most countries that have tried wealth taxes over the last 2 decades have abandoned them. The third, as Washington Examiner's Phil Klein points out, is that Warren has suggested that this same wealth tax could also be used to help pay for a whole slew of other progressive policy ideas. Those include Medicare for All, the Green New Deal, and subsidized childcare, which altogether would cost tens of trillions of dollars, far more than even the most generous wealth tax would raise.
I'm tired of a Washington that works for the rich and the powerful. I want a Washington that works for the rest of America. That's why I'm in this fight.
Ultimately, what Warren wants to do is tax the wealthy to help the merely well-off, rather than prioritize programs that help the truly needy. Warren isn't helping the little guy, she's helping folks already on top stay that way.